10 random magic cards rated day number 116. Let's see what's popping off on a Saturday. Hope your weekend's okay. How was your weekend, Ziggy? Oh, okay. That's good. Farewell is up next. Boo. Boo. Oh, that's a very pretty one, I gotta say. It's a gorgeous farewell. So this is 6 mana, 4 and 2 white for a sorcery. Choose one or more. You can choose all of them if you want to. Exile everything except planeswalkers or lands, basically. Exile all artifacts and or all creatures and or all enchantments and or all graveyards. Why? This card ever get printed? Pretty happy we don't have to deal with it in standard, although the last few months it was in standard. It wasn't too much of a factor. Sunfall had mostly taken over. Although I imagine if it was in standard right now, it might be a thing with all the enchantments and stuff going around. So there's that. But yeah, Farewell, I'm really happy we don't have in standard. But if you're in Commander, you probably have to deal with this card forever. Is $5 the lowest price? Yep, $5 appears to be the lowest price for this card. Maybe Doctor Who has a lower version, but then you got to buy a Doctor Who card. Even if you like Doctor Who, I just think like the Magic art probably just looks better in most cases. Isn't there one that's like got super fancy art? Isn't that? Yeah, that's the one. That's super fancy. That's like $10. Jeez. But anyway, what do you actually give a card like this? Exile all everything, all Magic that people have been playing up until now. Make it so it never happened. That won't be aggravating. People will like you actually if you do this. This is like a 8. I kept wondering. My brain kept doing this thing. It was like, are you really about to? You sure? Are you sure? Yeah, I'm mostly rating for casual Commander, and if we're looking at like power level, not how many friends you'll make when you play a card, but like how powerful a card actually is. This is, yeah, it's like approaching an 8, if not at an 8. So I'll just say 8. Hate this card. I really do. I am crying. I am mauling and crying, and it's right now it's hilarious. How much I am crying about about Farewell. It's now I finally get to, for hopefully the last time, because we've covered it on the series. It's rotated out of my standard. Hopefully I finally get to say Farewell for the last time. Bye. Diagraph Ghoul is up next. This was originally printed in Innistrad, but has just been reprinted in Foundations. Will be in a couple of weeks in print. But let's look at the Innistrad promo. What a cool promo, man. A single black mana for a 2/2 zombie that ETB's tapped. You can get this promo for less than $1. I think it's a pretty good price for your zombies deck, because like Commander Zombies is probably always going to play this thing, you know. So 1-drop 2/2. Doesn't matter that ETB's tapped, you know. It's a zombie entering play trigger, which that matters. You know, not only is it started a good power toughness, but it benefits from all your zombie anthems and stuff like that. Just what a good card. What a solid Magic card this has always been, because a 1-mana 2/2 is pretty special. You know, this is a Samaru that enters play tapped and isn't legendary, and like good. So let's give Diagraph Ghoul a 5. Right out of 5. I think it's there. I think it's right there. 5.01. 5.01. Sure. Yes. Next is Davros, Dollet Creator. Have we done this? No, I would have remembered this guy. Look how ugly. He's an ugly guy. This is 4 mana, 1 and Grixis for a 3/4 legendary artifact alien scientist. That's a lot of types. He has Menace, so 4 mana, 3/4 Menace. At the beginning of your end step, create a 3/3 black Dalek creature artifact token with Menace with Menace if an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn. Then each opponent who lost 3 or more life this turn faces a villainous choice. You draw a card, or that player discards a card. Okay, geez Louise. So that's very wordy. At the beginning of your end step, so at the end of your turn, if your opponent lost 3 or more life, you get a 3/3, and then you either draw a card or they discard a card. All this for 4 mana on a 3/4 Menace. I'm going to say meh on this. I guess if he gets through unblocked, then he'll trigger himself at the end of your turn. That's kind of cool. And he is cool. Altogether, he is cool, but I don't know if this is as good as some of the other stuff you could be doing in Commander, but it's not really about right? For casual commander, it's not really about how good a thing is sometimes. It's about how, like, neat it is and how much you want to do the thing it does. And even if you do the thing this does, like, okay, draw a card, get a 3/3. That's not actually that exciting. So, like, I'm going to say 4.4, something like that. Next is Lonely Sandbar, the Lonely Island here, everybody. We've actually already done all of these. They all get like a 7.5. A single mana to cycle a land is incredible. That's so good. That's so good. Cunning Wish is up next. This is the Mystery Booster 2 version, but it was originally printed in Judgment and has been in World Championship decks 2 years in a row and was also a Judge gift card. So, treasured card that has done some competitive work in its lifetime. Because it's a wish. 3 mana, 2 and a blue for an instant. Choose an instant card you own from outside the game. Reveal it, put it into your hand. Remove Cunning Wish from the game. You see how it's an instant? You see how this card itself is an instant. So it goes to your sideboard and gets a counterspell. It's like mostly what this does, you know. It's just whatever you want it to be. It can be it can be a sorcery, not a sorcery, excuse me. It can be a removal spell. That's what I'm trying to say. It can be a removal spell. It can be a counter spell. It can be the big dumb instant that, like, does the thing in your deck and wins the game. It can be another copy of, you know, a different tutor spell. You know, you can tutor for a tutor to tutor through your deck. Whatever you want to toot, you can toot. So Cunning Wish has served a lot of sort of purposes over its lifespan. Really, really good card here, and probably one of, if not the single, like, best wish ever printed, the best wish effect we've ever had. So let's go with, man, 69 cents for the one that looks like a Future Sight card from Mystery Booster 2. That's a pickup. That's a pickup right there, baby. It's like the second time the card's ever really been printed. Get this. Buy that card. Buy Cunning Wish. When I look up prices, I'll know which one I want. That's not bad. 69 cents. Nice. This it really is a nice price. I'm not even trying to meme. It just is. I'm going to actually give this a 6.9. How about that? Let's give it. Actually, Cunning Wish is going to get a 7.5. No, it's not. We just gave Farewell an 8. Not everything can be based on what we gave Farewell. That's not how these videos work. However, I am rating this card too low. I am in the 6.9, 7 point whatever. I'm rating this card too low. 8.2. This card is phenomenal. This card is really good. Next is Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. I did like an Irish thing there. No offense to my Irish folks in the crowd. A Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. That's not how you do an Irish accent. This is 5 mana, 3 a white and a blue for a 4 loyalty legendary Planeswalker Teferi. You can +1 Teferi to draw a card at the beginning of your next end step. Untap 2 lands. If you -3 Sweet Tea, you put target non-land permanent into its owner's library, a third from the top. You can also -8 him to get an emblem with, whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent an opponent controls. Can you imagine? Imagine how that's a ridiculous ultimate, and people got to it all the time. Here's what Teferi would do, in case you forgot. The infamous Teferi Tuck, ladies and gentlemen. This is also its cheapest version in Mystery Booster 2, and you get a white bordered one. White bordered cards are cool. I like them, but that's neat. Anywhere else, though, this is going to cost you a very, very beautiful penny. I got to say, this card's like relatively expensive from most sources. But yeah, originally printed in Dominaria, it's like $9. Because the card's stupid. The card's so good. I don't know why I said it that way. I've never said it that way in my life. Stupid. It's just like, the +1 you see is draw a card, which is good. That's fine. So plus to draw a card is always good. But this lets you actually tap mana on your turn and then keep counterspell or removal mana up, which is, yes, let's do that in a control deck. But the -3, yeah, it takes care of opponents' non-land permanents, which is sick. But it also tucks itself. You see, you can target your own Teferi with its own ability and tuck it into your library. And that sounds like, why would you ever do that? So you don't deck yourself. That's it. That's all. What this does is when you get down to no cards in your deck, Teferi puts himself, he makes himself your library. And then when you draw Teferi and play Teferi on the next turn, you can -3 him to put him on top. And now he becomes the only card in your library again. And you just repeat this and you never deck. So this is how control matches win. back in the day, especially control mirrors, which is where the Teferi Tuck was most utilized. It was boy, was it a jamboree. Boy, was it action packed. Just edge of your seat. Get your popcorn. We had a good time. It's terrible, actually. But this card was feared by everyone, not just the control mirror, because everything the card does is just kind of bonkers. Not as irritating as the 3-mana Teferi we'd get a little earlier or later. I can't remember. But that guy was a pain in the butt. But Teferi is often a pain in the butt, and this one is no exception. They're good cards today, man. I'm going to give this Teferi a 7.2. Yeah. Yep. 7.2. That's what it is, man. It's a good card. Really good card, dude. Gore Moldrock, Amphinologist. Coming up next. This is, I've never seen this card in my life. This is 3 mana, 1, a green and a blue for a 3/2 legendary human scout. You and permanents you control have protection from salamanders. Good thing. At the beginning of your end step, each player who controls the fewest creatures creates a 4/3 blue salamander warrior creature token. Okay, so I knew it would give salamanders to your opponent, like, somehow. Somehow. So it might give your opponent some sallies, but, like, they're not going to hit you. And even if they come in, like, you just block them and it's fine. All your things, everything has pro salamanders. If they try to throw a salamander at a planeswalker, bad move. So it's silly. This is pretty bad, isn't it? This is pretty just whatever. I guess it's a fun Magic card. It says salamanders on it. That's funny. They're funny words, but I think I kind of like that he's crazy. The day of reckoning is coming. Knowledge of the Amphin may be our only refuge, but he's crazy like a fox, right? He knows exactly what's going on, especially considering if you look closely in the background, there's a salamander guy behind a tree. I don't know if it's a salamander guy, but there's a guy behind a tree watching him. So I think I like the lore I'm making up in my head for this card more than I like the actual card. 3.42. 3.42 for old Gore over here, Mr. Mole. Protection, Circle of Protection black. I've done all the cops before. ACAF, you know? All cops are fine. But sure, Circle of Protection black is a pretty good one. It's not as good as red, but it's better than blue. You know what I mean? So I don't know what score we gave to these, but it holds up. I don't have to do these anymore. I've done them. Next is Bill Potts. Old Billy Potts over here. 4 mana, 3 and a red for a 2/4 legendary human. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Bill Potts, or activate an ability that targets only Bill Potts, copy that spell or ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. This ability triggers only once each turn. Also has Doctor's Companion. So, targeted with a pump spell, you get 2 of them. Okay, so you target it with an ability it copies. So if you target it with an ability that untaps it, that ability will untap, resolve separately from the first untap ability. If you give her an ability that can tap her down, you'll get 2 untaps in the same turn. If she taps her mana, you start generating mana. We're doing a thing. It's not good, though. 4. Let's move on. To planes. Basics get a 5. They don't count. Art's fine. Next is Angelic Page, 2 mana, 1 and a white for a 1/1 Angel Spirit with flying. Target attacking or blocking creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn if you tap this guy. This was originally printed in Urza's Saga. I remember this art. I remember. This is Rebecca Gay art, which is always splendid to see. But yeah, this is much more familiar to me as a Magic card in this form. You don't see a whole lot of 2 mana angels. So this card is made slightly better just by the fact that it is that. In Angel decks and Commander, like, you got to fill out that 2-drop slot, and Angelic Page will always do that. So I'm going to give this card a 4. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at a 4. A 4 is role-playing sometimes in like a Kindred deck or whatever word you want to say. Yeah, it's, 4 doesn't mean you don't see play anywhere ever. It's 4 is fine. It's good. And good job, Rebecca, as usual. We'll move on to Reign of Tears here, printed originally in Portal and then again in Tempest, Mercadian Mask, 10th edition. The best art is, even though this is good art, I don't want to knock Eric Peterson here, but in terms of like the color palette, Charles Gillespie over here, knocking it out of the park. Look at that Rain of Tears. 3 mana, 1 and 2 black to destroy target land at sorcery speed. You see it. Black used to be able to do this. It had Sinkhole. It had Choking Sands, Deep Cut from Mirage. You know, Black had Ice Quake, Deep Cut, Ice Age. I know things about Black Stone Rains, Black Land Removal, Black Ponza, we used to call it. Do you remember? You remember that? Anyway, this is good. This is just a good card, you know? I don't know where you're going to play it or whatever, but 3 mana, destroy target land is an honorary 5. Because I don't know what I don't know what else it would be, right? I don't think I want to give this like a 4.7 or a 4.4, which it probably falls between the range of those two scores, but I'm going to save it. I'm going to save Rain of Tears from all that by just throwing a 5 at it. I really have always liked any land destruction period, but you know, we forgot long ago that black used to get land destruction and green used to get land destruction, Thermokarst, Ice Storm, right? So why is red the only color that gets it nowadays? Bring it back. Dromoka's Command is up next. This is a good magic card, originally printed in Dragons of Tarkir. This is a single green and a single white. That adds up to 2 mana for an instant in which you get to choose 2 of these 4 modes. Either prevent all damage target instant or sorcery spell would deal this turn. Target player sacrifices an enchantment. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and or target creature you control fights another target creature that you don't control. So all these modes are kind of good by themselves. None of them necessarily worth 2 mana, right? But you put them all together, choose a couple of modes, starting to cook, right? Very often back in the day, because this was played in the Abzan decks as part of like the Siege Rhino package back in the day in this standard environment, along with a lot of other stuff. Abzan Charm. You guys remember Abzan's a good card. But anyway, Dromoka's Command at instant speed can sometimes just blow out a combat step. It can blow out red removal pretty obviously. That's what the whole point of the first mode is. But if you can utilize that first mode, it's absolutely insane. It's so good, dude. Apart from that, though, sack an enchantment can be great against certain decks. But again, it's when you put it together with other stuff. So you go down an enchantment and you go down a creature because of this like fight mode, right? So I use my Siege Rhino to fight your 3/3 or whatever. So Dromoka's Command was very often used as a 2 mana instant speed 2-for-1 that blew your opponent completely out. And it also made burn spells like really difficult to actually play in this environment. So along with Siege Rhino being like 4 toughness or 5 toughness. Am I having trouble remembering Siege Rhino's power toughness? I remember him as a 3/4, but he wasn't. He's a 4/5. He's a 4 mana 4/5. Yes, he is. But yeah, Burn was tough. Mono Red was tough back in the day. And Siege Rhino gets all the credit for that. But Dromoka's Command was a big part of it too. This is still played somewhat in Commander. I'm going to give it a 6.4. We'll go 6.4 for the final card of the day here. That was a long video. Jeez, sorry guys. Unless you're into that kind of thing. But anyway, really, I think today's video was so long, so there was a lot to talk about. We had really powerful cards today. Gotta love a video like that, man. What is it? Day 116th time is the charm to get the good cards. Anyway, I'll see you guys back tomorrow. That is where Black Lotus is hiding. One of these days we will see Black Lotus or one of the Moxen. We haven't even come across one of those yet. When will they happen? The mystery continues to unravel. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day.